In our class yesterday, we saw how ignorance of Satya, ignorance of Satyam leads to the projection of Mithyatva, Jagrata Avastha or Mithyatva, Swapna Avastha. And this ignorance of truth, which leads to the projection of Mithyatva Jagat, is explained by this example of the rope and the snake. When the rope is not seen as the rope, that rope, on top of it, a snake is projected. And along with the snake projection arrives the calamities born out of the false knowledge of snake, such as fear, loss of life, so on and so forth. In the same way, when Brahman or this Atma is not known as Atma, the Anatma is projected, and the Anatma is over here taken as the entire Jagrata Avastha. The whole projection is nothing but ignorance, nothing but illusion, because the self-knowledge is not there. And when the self-knowledge is not there, all else is understood to be the self. The body is taken up to be the self. The mind is taken up to be the self. The intellect is taken up to be the self. The possessions at the level of the body are accepted as the self. The emotions are accepted as the self. Ideas are accepted as the self. No matter how construed the ideas are, no matter how false they are accepted as truth. And in this false illusion, all projected out of Swamayaya, this jiva finds itself to be in grave bondage. The grave bondage is capable of creating a very real sorrow. In spite of sorrow not being there, it is self-created. This was the purpose of explaining the Vedantic example of rope and snake in 16, 17 and 18, that when the rope is not known, the snake arrives, and along with snake comes all wrong ideas, because the snake itself is false to begin with. So anything born out of the snake understanding is going to be wrong. So mithya projection is known as mithya only when one is in the state of mithya, meaning the calamities born out of a false understanding of snake is only present during the state of understanding the rope to be the snake. But the minute the rope is known as a rope, all illusions born out of the snake illusion vanish immediately, and the truth of the understanding that rope alone is alleviates the jiva of all types of suffering. In the same way, the knowledge of the self alleviates the jiva of the jivahood problems. The jivahood problems are not owned up. Only the nature of my true being as the self, as the Atma alone is owned up, and all else remains at the relative level, all negated at the level of the mind, at the level of understanding, because of the presence of the knowledge of who I am. In the light of that understanding, all wrong understanding is removed. Even though the eyes may be seeing it, even though the mind may be experiencing it, but at the level of understanding, it is all rejected, it is all negated. And the Badita Jagat at the level of the intellect is known. It is not Badita at the level of outside. Badita meaning negated. The world meaning in Mandukya Upanishad, the waking state is completely negated at the level of understanding, but the world is not negated at the level of the outside existence, because Vishnu Maya continues. The Swamaya, one's own Maya, is negated. Nidra Maya is negated for the dream world to be rejected. Swamaya is negated for the waking state, but the Vishnu Maya remains. The Vishnu Maya is negated at the level of understanding, but it is not negated at the outside level, where one still experiences the experience born out of the Prapancha Jagat, the fivefold matter created world. This was the purpose of shlokas 16, 17 and 18. These shlokas are very important in terms of proper understanding should take place. Now comes a very simple negation of various philosophies, but it is not that simple. Why? Because if the study of Vedanta is not done, if one studies Mandukya Upanishad without studying Bhagavad Gita, without having proper understanding of at least Isha, Kena, Katha, Mundaka, Aitareya, Taitareya, Kaivalya, minimum these 7 Upanishads have to be not just studied but understood well. And if they are not studied properly, and if they are not understood, this section of Mandukya Karika becomes a dangerous path to walk. One can destroy one's own self by not having a proper understanding. Not understanding is very good, but misunderstanding is a dangerous thing. If one misunderstands it and lives this without proper understanding, it will lead to grave calamitous existence. It will create a lot of confusion, but that confusion will create erroneous understanding, and from the erroneous understanding very wrong actions will be taken, which is a source of a great ill prarabdha, is all we will cultivate if we do not understand this properly. Shloka 19, we saw that those people, this is where 19 to 28 different philosophies are refuted, and they have to be all taken in proper understanding. Pranadibhiranantaischa bhavairetaiर्vikalpitaha mayesha tasya devasya yaya sammohita swayam. When the Atma is imagined to be prana, and over here prana is taken as two things. First, the prana is taken as the total cosmic prana known as Hiranyagarbha. The total pranas, the total mind, all this is Hiranyagarbha. So over here, even that is imagined. From the standpoint of Mandukya Upanishad, no other Upanishads will say this. So that is why if these Upanishads are not studied properly, and if this is studied and then one goes back to those, utter confusion. That is why study of Mandukya is not recommended for one who has not properly understood the Upanishads. Pranadibhir anantaischa, prana adibhihi, and over here Gurudev writes as like Ishvara. So this Upanishad negates Ishvara. There is no such thing as Ishvara, and we sit in a temple where people come and bow down to Ishvara, and Mandukya says there is no such thing as Ishvara. This can lead to great problems if we have not understood this properly from the standpoint of absolute existence. From the absolute standpoint, Mandukya makes no compromise. It never comes to the level of the jiva. It doesn't even come to the level of transactional reality. So over here it is just paramarthika satta, vyavharika satta and the pratibhasika satta are just thrown out. Over here it doesn't even accept it. But in other Upanishads, the vyavhar is taken, proper understanding, and the jivatva is taken, and wherever there is vyavhar, jagat is there, the Lord of the jagat has to be there. If a microcosmic jiva is there, there has to be a macrocosmic God who presides over it. So in both those sattas, Ishwar, without Ishwar no jagat, no jiva can exist. So Ishwar is highly regarded in Vedanta, but this is a unique place where it is only from the paramarthika satta, and if this is not understood, we can make very ill decisions in our life which can destroy us. So over here prana is taken as Hiranyagarbha, and Devata is taken as any god of any religion. It is just thrown out in this Upanishad. It is negated. Religion has no purpose in Mandukya. You can imagine what powerful statement Gaudapadacharya ji is making, and yet he is the foremost along the whole lineage of Advaita Vedanta, in the great grand guru of Shankaracharya ji. So where even today in all the mathas of Bhagavad Pada, puja goes on and Ishwar is regarded and everything, but yet at the understanding philosophy level, no Ishwar. I alone am the absolute. And to say I alone am the absolute without proper understanding, it creates calamitous existence for the ego, if that ego thinks it alone is. So, pranadibhir anantaischa, prana adibhihi, prana hiranyagarbha, prana Ishvara. So all this anantaischa, and the innumerable bhavaihi, in various ways that Ishvara is understood, in various ways that religions talk about Ishvara, etaihi vikalpitaha, all this is imagined. Each and every single scripture that talks about Ishvara is imagined. Now if we say that, we will close down Balvihara and throw out the whole program. But it doesn't work that way. Bhagavatam has to be taught, alphabet values have to be taught, starting from the basics. Ramayana has to be taught, Mahabharata has to be understood and lived. All these, because it is, dharma is talked about in Mahabharata, so dharma has to be lived. But over here, etaihi bhavaihi vikalpita, everything is imagined. So all this has to be understood so properly, so properly. So the first mistake, Gaudapadacharya ji says, the first mistake made is religion. Baap re baap, what a big statement he makes. This is music to, the ears of atheists. But this is not what he is talking about. So all this vikalpitaha maya esha tasya devasya yaya sammohita swayam. Eshaha, this, all this, devasya maya. And over here, devasya, it is not talked about as the deva, the god of the seventh heaven. Over here, atma mayaya. It is one's own, deva is taken as atma, one's own self. And because of the inherent maya which is inseparable, anadi maya, this jiva over here, it is as though swayam sammohita, nobody else deluded this person by itself. Atma by itself got deluded. So this is a very strong statement he is making in this shloka number 19, that out of one's own maya the whole world is imagined. Hiranyagarbha, Deva, Ishvara, scriptures, religion, everything sammohita. Now we misunderstand this without proper understanding, and we walk out of here and say, see, I was saying it, all religions are bakwas. All religions hold no ground. I knew that they were taking people for a ride, that I don't need to follow anything. This becomes a sure short method of destroying one's own self. This is not what Gaudapadacharya ji is saying. He is saying from a self-realized soul's drashti where nothing exists. Omkar alone Nanta prajna, na bahish prajna, no bhayata prajna, na prajna, na prajna. He's talking from that standpoint, definition of Atma. The whole Karikas are only commentary on 7th mantra, which is Prapanchopashanam, Advaitam, Shivam, Shantam, Amrutam. He's only talking from that standpoint. And from that standpoint, nothing is. It alone is. So if we are not in that standpoint, we have no right to throw out Devata. We have no right to throw out Ishvara. We have no right to throw out religion. We have no right to throw out Dharma. We have no right to throw out proper rules. This has to be so clear. Just because it is said over here, that doesn't mean that I can do anything I want, that I'm excused from all the rules of Dharma Shastra. In fact, even after realizing, you look at all the acharyas, they follow Dharma even more closely because everybody is looking at them. So, there never is a point when one throws out Dharma, but in understanding, it has to be clear that even Dharma has no place in Absolute. Because Dharma is only there where there is juxtaposed next to it Adharma. But in Bhagavan, in consciousness, awareness, which Dharma, which Adharma. So from that standpoint, he is making all this. Now comes all different philosophies. Prana iti prana vido,
prana iti prana vido,
bhutaniti cha tadvidah,
bhutaniti cha tadvidah,
guna iti gunavidah,
guna iti gunavidah,
tatvaniti cha tadvidah.
tatvaniti cha tadvidah.
Now, prana iti pranavidah, those who call prana, those who understand the world as pranas, they understand Brahman as pranas. So over here, what is taken as prana is the Vaisheshika darshan. The Vaisheshika darshan, they reduce the whole world into different categories of pranas, because it is a type of Shakti. It's a type of a power. And each thing exists with a unique power. So the Vaisheshika darshan is negated. Bhutaniti cha tadvidah. The Charvak philosophy, they believe that Bhutani, whatever elements have manifested, that alone is the reality. Actually, they only take 4 elements. They only take the earth, water, fire, and air. That's it. They don't even take space, because space is not under perception. So the Charvak philosophy, the materialists, whatever is seen is believed, that's it. Whatever is experienced is believed. Space, there is no experience. Air, there is experience because it can be felt on the skin. So over here, Bhutani iti tadvidah, those people who think that these elements, you come over here into this world, you enjoy this world, and Runam krutva dhrutam pibet. This is the very statement that they have, that you get into debt if you want to. Who cares? The debt is going to be over here. But you drink ghee. Meaning you live a very merriful life of all enjoyments, because in olden days and ghee is considered to be enjoyment. So consume ghee and get into debt, doesn't matter, because it is just enjoyment. So Charvak philosophy, they reduce Atma to just lavish life. Guna iti guna vidaha. Now over here the Sankhya philosophy talks about Prakriti or Pradhan as Trigunatmika Maya of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And the whole universe is born out of gunas. That's why Bhagavan Krishna also borrows this understanding of Sankhya philosophy, and in fact he calls the chapter also Sankhya, Sankhya Yoga. So those people have understood that there is Pradhan, which is Prakriti, and Purusha. And they are beginningless and they are endless. And Pradhan and Prakriti, this Prakriti and Purusha is Anadi. They've come along, and these three gunas of Prakriti, they play upon Ishvara and they create the Shrishti, and that is all that is. There is moksha is understanding Purusha and understanding Prakriti, and they are beginningless, and once you come to it, you enjoy the whole thing. This is the Sankhya philosophy, guna iti guna vidaha. So what is Atma? Atma has intermingled with the gunas. So they think of the samyog of Purusha with guna, and that is to be the ultimate understanding of what is the highest satyam. Because what is the highest truth is what is shown in various places. So over here some people say prana is which is the different prana of the previous one, Hiranyagarbha. This prana is the very manifested Shakti of various things. So Vaisheshika darshan is talked about. Then Charvak darshan is talked about in the next second quarter. Third quarter Sankhya darshan is talked about. And Tattvan iti tadvidaha. Now it is said that Gaudapada Acharya, he comes from the Gauda Pradesh. So which is the northern region, the Bangar Pradesh, and over there the Devi Tantra is very prominent, and in the Devi Tantra there are the whole universe is reduced into various tattvas, and this the Shaiva Siddhant of Tantra, the Tantric Shaiva Siddhant, even the Kashmiri Shaiva, it is a very prominent darshan which has reduced the universe to 36 tattvas. And they think of the realization is understanding that the whole universe is just tattvan iti tadvidaha. The ones who know this as tattva, they believe that tattva is the Atma. It's a very evolved darshan, but Gaudapada Acharya ji says that we have to go even beyond it. That there comes an understanding of it, but this is even higher. So this is the Shaiva philosophy. There is a school of thinkers predominantly in South India. Gurudev calls over here Shaiva, who believes that the reality is constituted of the tattvas, the Atma. So Some people say that it is born out of South India. Some people say it is born out of North India. So wherever you want to understand it, basically the Shaiva Siddhant over here, Atma, Vidya and Shiva. So Atma represents, the limited individual. Avidya is what is known as the Jagat, and Shiva is represented as the Supreme. So endowed with Avidya, the worship of the Shiva is there, and then the whole tattva is born out of it. Because whenever we say avidya, what is avidya? So then they describe that to be great tattvas. It is coming up it will be described what all these tattvas are. Pada iti pada vido,
Pada iti pada vido,
Vishaya iti tad vidaha,
Vishaya iti tad vidaha,
Loka iti loka vidaha,
Loka iti loka vidaha,
Deva iti cha tad vidaha.
Deva iti tad vidaha.
Pada iti pad vidaha. Some people say that the universe exists in Tripad, and the Tripad is none other than Jagrat, Swapna and Shushupti. These are, but over here in Mandukya, the Chaturtha is taken, which is the fourth, which is beyond the three. So the waking, the dream, the deep sleep are taken as the pad over here, that people exist in different places, and the three padas are the three existence, and Atma is that path. Whichever path you are in, that is what Atma is. So that is understanding of some people. Vishaya iti tadvidaha. Some people declare that the universe is nothing. Atma Tattva, the absolute Satya, is nothing but the sense objects. Because none of these states would bear any weight without sense objects. But the sense objects are there for a purpose. Because of sense objects, there is a sense perception. And that sense perception leads to a sense experience. And ultimately, each one of us want experience. Thus, sense objects are the basis of experience. Thus, that is considered to be the Atma. Loka iti lok vidaha. And this is the Pauranic understanding that, there is a Vishnu lok, a Shiva lok, a Saketa lok, a Go lok, and each Purana will take that deity and that loka will be glorified. That's all. So loka, it's a world in which that one particular deity lives. If we talk about Shiva Puran, then everything is Shiva lokam avapnoti, Shivena saha modate. One goes to the Shiva loka and one enjoys the life with Saketa lokam avapnoti, Ramena saha modate. That person will go to the Saketa loka and then enjoy the life with Bhagavan. And same thing in the Vishnu tradition, it is the Vaikuntha loka. So in this way, each one of the Pauranic deity is glorified, and each one of them has their own different lokas. And if those people have the blindfolds, then that becomes the reality for them. They cannot come out of it. If they think Vaikuntha, no, there is no such thing as Kailash. And if somebody is all gung-ho about Kailash, there is no such thing as Vaikuntha. So then you keep on fighting. Just whichever one you believe, and then the other is wrong and you are right, you are wrong, the other is, it will go on. So this is the Pauranic understanding of it. See, Deva iti tadvidaha. So, Devaha, over here what is referred to is Upasana. The person who does Upasana of that particular deity. Then that Upasana bears amazing fruit of Savikalpa Samadhi of that deity. And the best example we all know, very famous, Ramakrishna Paramhamsa. His Upasana was mother, 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 mother. And that great Upasana of Mother Kali, he used to sit down in the entrance of Dakshineshwar temple and sit down and have full-blown conversation with Mother Kali. In the very say, oh, she's sitting next to me, and people are, what do you mean she's sitting next to you? And he'll tell Narendra, go inside and you ask her. And he would go and he would laugh with her that let's see what he's asking you. And people are like, what kind of nonsense and madness is this? But this Upasak, if they pour out their energy to that deity, the power of the deity, it reveals. It could be Shiva, it could be Vishnu, it could be, we have no shortages of saints to prove this. Yeah, look at the glory of Myanmar saints, each one of them. Same thing with the Alvars, who can dispute the relationship Andal has with Narayana? Powerful, each one of them. Great Shaiva saints and Vishnu saints and Devi saints. How did they become such? Upasana. But the best example is Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, because over there it is proved that that is not the goal. Totapuriji comes and initiates him into Nirvikalpaka, that don't be over here in Savikalpa Samadhi of mother, and pierces his third eye and said, go beyond. And he had to give up mother, which was like, you can imagine if somebody has poured out their life 24/7. Mother's mantra, mother. With the power of mantra, he created mother. Anywhere he went, Kali would be right behind him, in front of him, above him, underneath him, right of him, left of him, everywhere. The Kali Maya Jagat, everywhere he went. But Guru comes and says, you have to go beyond. You cannot be stuck in this. So does this mean that Upasana is nonsense? Again, see, if it is not understood properly, then we will give up reading Puranas over here, because it is said Loka iti lok vidaha, then why even read Vishaya iti tad vidaha and give up sense perception? It doesn't work that way. Deva iti deva vidaha, then give up all the upasanas. No. Without upasana, the chitta ekagrata, how will it come to reach even nirvikalpaka samadhi? So, what is talked about over here is from here, and we are still over here. So, we cannot prematurely negate all these things. What Gaudapadacharya ji is saying is from there, that this is all frivolous, it doesn't matter. That shows what is the absolute goal. And Ramakrishna Paramhamsa proved it in his life. As difficult as it was for him to give up mother, he gave up mother, reached that Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. Then he was brought out of it because he had disciples. Came back out and initiated all disciples and said, no, you worship her, you do this, Otherwise in Nirvikalpaka Samadhi there is no doing, and yet he said no, proper puja has to go on. How much trouble he used to go through to make Naivedyam properly. And if something happened, if he saw something, throw out, get another Naivedyam. And that Rani Rasmani used to fight with him that, what are you doing? With great difficulty we have acquired, honey, and we have acquired, in those days, getting some saffron and all those rice she would prepare, and he would find a little bit of an eyelash or something. He said, get rid of this. My Devi requires better Naivedyam than this. So he did all those things. So how do we resolve it? We have to understand importance of all this, and at the same time the higher goal. So what Deva iti tadvidaha, so all those upasakas and different mimamsakas who are known to do various upasanas, in Vedic lifestyle and in Vedic era, Agni, Varuna, Aditya, these were all the devatas of upasana, and they used to do great upasanas. In Taittiriya Upanishad, little upasanas are shown. In all those things, great upasanas of Prithvi, and then Surya, and then lightning and water and rain, and all those things are talked about as these phenomenal forces upon which they used to do upasana in Vedic era. And that was for cultivating the single pointedness of that mind. So in this way all this is refuted. Veda iti Veda vido, Yajna iti cha tadvidaha, Bhokte iti cha bhoktruvidaha, Bhojyamiti cha tadvidaha. Veda iti Veda vidaha, those people who are into the understanding of the Vedas, they just involve themselves into great ritualistic engagement of Veda, chanting the Veda. And we have the Veda Samhita part is there, and then there is Pada part, and then there is Krama and Ghana part, and all Jata part, and just so much it is. That little 24 syllable Gayatri mantra, the things that they do to the Gayatri mantra, the Vediti Ved Vidaha, they think that is the be all and end all of everything, that if you know the Vedas, you have known the Atma. So much so that those people who have Bodhayana Shakha of Gotra, when they do Sandhya Vandanam, they have to do extra length because of their love of Vedas. That Sandhya Vandanam itself becomes so long. But this is how it is. Veda iti Ved Vida. Those people think of Atma as bas Vedas. Yajna iti Tadvidaha. And those people who are into sacrifices, Yajna Yaga adi Karma, bas keep on turning wood into smoke. Nothing wrong in yajna, but if this is the goal, then Gaudapadacharya ji says, what are you doing? Atma is not just burning some wood. That allows you to acquire chitta shuddhi, ekagrata and all those things. Utilize for all that. Bhokta iti cha bhoktru vidaha. And there are people who say, like for example, in Sankhya, in Sankhya philosophy, we have the Purusha and Prakriti. So Purusha then becomes the witness, and it witnesses all that happens at the level of the Prakriti. And this is exactly what Bhagavan draws from the Sankhya philosophy in Bhagavad Gita itself. So then Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, he says, learn to be a witness, learn to be a witness. So when you are a witness, then you look at all the experiences available, and you become the bhokta and the bhoktru and the bhogya vastu. All of those, the enjoyer, the enjoying and the enjoyed, the whole triputi becomes alive. So the triad of the enjoyer, the enjoyed and the enjoyment. So some people say that the enjoyment, bhoktru over here, the enjoyer, the enjoyment cannot be there without the enjoyer. So the enjoyer of the Sankhya is considered to be the highest, the witness, the enjoyer, the experiencer, all those things. So over here Gaudapadacharya ji says that even if you develop witnesshood, that is still not considered to be the highest. He rejects that as well. Bhojyamiti tadvidaha. For some people it is the object of enjoyment. They say, yes, I am the witness, and as a witness I witness it. But what is witnesshood without enjoyment? So for some people it is the enjoyment, for some people it is the witness. So whichever it is, the enjoyer is the Atma, or the enjoyed is the Atma, or the experience is the Atma. Whichever way you take it, over here our Gaudapadacharya ji says all this is negated. Sukshma iti sukshma vidaha.
Sukshma iti sukshma vidaha.
Sthula iti cha tad vidaha.
Sthula iti cha tad vidaha.
Murta iti murta vidaha.
Murta iti murta vidaha.
Amurta iti cha tad vidaha.
Amurta iti cha tad vidaha.
So sukshma iti sukshma vidaha. Some people say that the whole world is anu anu paramanu. So over here the Nayayikas and the Vaisheshikas, all of that philosophy is negated. Basic, even modern day science can also be taken over here. Sukshma iti sukshma vidaha. That's what science is into. Anu anu parmanu, the very atomic level, and the subatomic, and then the particulate, and then you do this and that, whatever it is. Now there's the string theory, and everything comes on and on and on. Now physics will go on. People need something, some excitement in science. So the whole science is negated over here. Sthula iti cha tadvidaha. This is Jain darshan. But Jain darshan, there are two, when it is said sukshma, that is the Digambara aspect of Jain darshan, and when it is a sthula, it is the Shvetambara aspect of the Jain darshan is negated. And they think that the Atma depends upon however big the sthul vastu is. Hathi, elephant is huge, so Atma is big, and ant is tiny, so Atma is tiny. So that is sthula iti, and so Jain darshan is negated over here. Gaudapadacharya ji just looks at this and just raises his eyebrows. What are you thinking? Murta iti murta vidaha. Those people who are into idol worship. So for them, oh, that idol is everything. So it is murta, meaning a form, and a murti puja. So there are the sects in Dvaita Darshan, Madhvacharya ji's, as well as in the Vaishnava Darshan, where the murti is considered to be very, very important. Their little shaligram and the worship of that, the worship of Perumal Swami has to be done properly, and this and that. So all those things over here are talked about. Amurta iti cha tadvidaha. And then there are others who don't believe in any forms. So Bauddha Darshan is, Buddhism is also negated over here. And actually, the 4th chapter, Lat Shanti, he will pick this up. Because if we negate everything, then somebody will come and say, Kuch hai nahi, there is nothing. So Shunya is taken, and he takes a whole chapter to reject Bauddha Darshan, that don't think that nothing exists. When we say that this is not, this is not, this is not, this is not, then some student will sit over there and say, then what you mean is there is nothing. Nothing is Atma. So he said, no. It is not that nothing is Atma. Consciousness is. So he takes that up in that 4th chapter. We'll see tomorrow. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om.